Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because, well, we're tackling one of the most high-stakes, nerve-wracking situations you can possibly face in your professional life. We're talking about interviewing for a job in a second language. If you've ever felt that tight knot in your stomach before a big English interview, wondering if your vocabulary is just going to completely abandon you the second you need it most, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're walking through a highly effective blueprint to take you from completely frozen to officially hired, and it's all based on a fascinating real-world case study.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if I told you that one wrong sentence in English could literally cost you your absolute dream job? Sounds incredibly intense, right? But this actually happened to a friend of mine, Maria. However, it's what she did right after that mistake that changed everything. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know the exact phrases and frameworks that saved a candidate from disaster and turned her interview around. And the best part? You can use them in your own interviews tomorrow. So stay with me here, because tip number 2 on our list is one that absolutely nobody tells you about, but it is a total game changer.
Section 1. Maria's Interview Panic. So let's set the scene. On paper, Maria was the perfect candidate. She was highly qualified, had a stellar resume, 3 solid years of experience under her belt, and literally every single one of her technical skills perfectly matched the job description. But there was one massive hurdle standing in her way. English wasn't her first language, and despite all her amazing qualifications, that single fact made her absolutely terrified to walk into that room. Week 1. Everything's great. Her resume gets her right through the door. Then we jump to the interview room. Minute 10. The interviewer asks the classic, seemingly harmless question. Tell me about yourself. Well, Maria freezes. By minute 12, she's caught in a loop. She's been rambling for 2 solid minutes. Her train of thought? Completely gone. She can literally see the interviewer's face changing into this neutral, unimpressed expression. In her head, the alarm bells are ringing. She's thinking, I just lost this job. Her hands are literally shaking under the table. The panic has completely taken over.
But right at the peak of that physical panic, something shifted. Instead of giving up and letting the nerves completely win, Maria remembered one simple trick. It was a playbook that a mentor had taught her specifically for this kind of situation, and leaning on that single piece of advice was the exact turning point that stopped the physical panic in its tracks and completely turned the entire interview around.
Section 2. The Mentor's 4 Practical Tips. Let's slow things down, open the playbook, and look at exactly what she did. Tip number 1. The STAR method. When you're interviewing in a second language, your brain is working in absolute overdrive translating thoughts, which is exactly why it's so easy to just start rambling. The STAR method gives your answers a rigid, reliable structure so you never lose your way. First, you briefly describe the situation. Then, the task you were faced with. Next, the specific action you took. And finally, the result you achieved. When you lock your answers into this framework, you simply cannot ramble. You always know exactly where your sentence is going next.
And this brilliantly illustrates tip number 2, which is your emergency ripcord. If your mind goes completely blank, you say this. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a moment. It's the ultimate stalling phrase. When you say this, it sounds incredibly thoughtful and confident to the interviewer. But internally, it does something vital. It buys you 5 to 10 seconds of precious time to take a deep breath, calm your nervous system, and translate your next thought.
So the crucial point is really captured here in tip number 3. Confidence over perfection. A lot of non-native speakers focus entirely on having perfect grammar, but they deliver their answers with a nervous, shrinking posture. Here is the secret. Interviewers forgive grammar mistakes far, far more readily than they forgive low confidence. You're actually much better off having occasional grammar mistakes, but pairing them with a confident posture. Sit up straight, make steady eye contact, and deliberately speak slower than you think you need to. That confident delivery completely overrides a few missing vocabulary words.
Tip number 4 comes down to a golden number, 3. This is your magic number for preparation. Before you ever step foot into that interview room, you need to prepare exactly 3 real stories from your past work experience. Write them out, structure them using that STAR method we just talked about, and know them inside and out. The reality is, almost every behavioral interview question they throw at you can be effectively answered by adapting one of those 3 core stories. It dramatically reduces the amount of English you have to improvise on the spot.
Section 3. The resolution. Hired. Using these exact frameworks, Maria calmed down, structured her thoughts, and confidently navigated the rest of the interview. Just 2 days later, her phone buzzed with an email notification. She opened it up and read the words, "We'd love to offer you the position." No way, right? She turned a complete shaking hands freeze up into a formal job offer just by leaning on this structure. Which leads me to this core motivational takeaway.
If Maria can do it, so can you. Your English absolutely doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be prepared. But here's the thing. Just watching this explainer and nodding along isn't enough. You have to take this blueprint and actually practice it out loud before your real interview to build up that muscle memory. Now I want to turn it over to you with one final very important question. What is your biggest job interview fear in English? I want you to drop your answer in the comments below because I read every single one and it helps me know exactly what to cover next to help you succeed. If this explainer helped give you a bit more confidence today, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in our next explainer, I'm going to be giving you 10 real, highly common interview questions along with sample answers that you can literally steal for yourself. You won't want to miss it. Keep practicing, keep your head up, and I'll see you in the next one.